Check, check. Check, check. Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check. Check, check. Guess we're all the way up on the mic volume. What is going on, guys? Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. We are live. We are live. Let me get out of these lo-fi beats. We were jamming here. Really, really mellow morning on the lo-fi for the stream introduction. What's going on, guys? I'm a little on the tired side here. I was up all night trying to figure out this Discord situation here. Trying to get the bots in there to on the welcome, consent form, and long story, the short and skinny of it is I didn't get any sleep last night, which is all right. A little bit late on the start for the morning for the Minutemen Report here. We're live on YouTube, on Twitch, Dlive, and Trovo. Come and join me, Minutemen Report, if you guys aren't already tapped in. Pretty slow, pretty slow news day today. I mean, a lot going on in the world. Still in the 24-hour news cycle. You know how that is. Nothing stops. No one sleeps. So me getting no sleep is kind of secondary. Nobody's getting any sleep in the news industry here. Let's see what we got. Hold on. Okay, first up. How's the mic? Check, check, 1, 2, chat. We sounding all right? Good. Check, check, 1, 2. I got to get the mic situation going. Yesterday I went back on the feed and it was sounding so bad. So we don't have any condenser mic, any of the bad equipment coming in, and the whole headphones but you know what? We're getting there. Big things coming soon. Big things. We're multi-streaming. Discord up soon. Gonna be taking callers. Let's see what we got first on the docket here. So we got journalist Nick Ochs. I hope I pronounced that right. Last name Ochs. This guy's facing 20 years journalist for being at the Capitol reporting it on the 6th. Warren Whittick gave this guy an interview, and he's going over pretty much like, you could tell the guy is definitely not a very threatening person as far as the storming of the Capitol, the siege of the Capitol. And as far as we know so far, the Capitol was open for business that day. They weren't closed down on any official capacity. So she interviewed him, and actually, Lauren Whittick is a congresswoman that just got the ultimate cancel culture. Warren Whitskey. She got her bank account canceled. That's the ultimate cancel culture right there. Wells Fargo. Everybody, if you got a Wells Fargo, Bank of America, we need to be going to local credit unions and local banks, because at this point, if your bank can cancel you, what's really next at this point? The National File, and Lauren Whitskey, she was on the Ralph Retort last night, gave a really good interview, first 30 minutes. National File also just did a piece on her, because this is awful. They left her with no money, moving into Florida. Of course, this is where the defectors moved to. So she's in Florida now, trying to figure it out. If you can, go follow Lauren Whitskey on Telegram. Go ahead and support your local freedom fighters here. She's friends with Milo. Guy's definitely an op. She's friends with like Laura Loomer. They're definitely, Ziotes. So, they're definitely shills for the tippy top. So, but this lady Lauren Whiskey, she gave a solid interview. She seems solid. She's been on Twitter wars at the throats of these people, and so according to the National File, Wells Fargo shut down the bank account of America Firster Lauren Whiskey, leaving her stranded out of state completely with no money. In a post on Telegram, Whiskey, who ran as the Republican candidate for the Senate of Delaware in 2020 elections, revealed that Wells Fargo had completely shut her bank account down, removing all of her money from the system, leaving her with a zero balance instead. In a call with the bank, Whiskey was informed that the action taken was a purely business decision and that they have the right to close your account down at any time. Had I not been surrounded by friends in Florida, Whiskey says, that I would be completely stranded, she wrote, as she would be stuck at a state with absolutely no money at all. She is this political prisoner at its finest right here, guys. This is crazy. If you could shut down a bank account because officially now banks are hiding behind the facts that they're corporations and they can do what they want to, and if you don't like it, take your business elsewhere. You guys see what this is pushing everybody into right here. I mean, this is when you're rallying, when you're corralling, I should say, not rallying. You're corralling everybody into a pen at this point. Everybody that thinks this thing is over here on the farthest spectrum, and everybody that thinks this is over here on the farthest spectrum. So, I mean, we're going to have people just trying to run to other banks that hopefully will take them in these times of crisis. This is like World War II, when you have all the people that are running away from the Nazi regime and running to friends' houses that'll take them under their wing, take them refuge at this point. I mean, are we having to claim asylum within our own banking systems? Are we having to claim asylum right now in credit unions because Wells Fargo can actually shut down your bank account? According to Lauren Whiskey, I mean, this isn't the first time that I've heard of this happening. I mean, this is scary time right now. Scary times we're living in. You have to claim asylum basically in another bank. She's essentially, I'm guessing she probably is running. If she's coming to Florida, if Lauren Whiskey is coming to Florida, okay, and this is happening, I'm guessing she's running to Florida. She's going to Florida, defecting to Florida because of her beliefs and getting shamed probably wherever she's at. This is just my guess. She has friends and family here, so it probably could just be a very natural move. But clearly things weren't going in a direction that she wanted to stay in Delaware. So in a sense, she's coming down to Florida right now for safe haven. I guess you could say she's claiming asylum in Florida because of where she was. Now Wells Fargo, she's having to claim asylum in a credit union. I mean, do you see what this is bringing us to right now? This political atmosphere is getting palpable. You can almost taste it. Oh, let's see. So CD Media has been coming out with these articles the last couple days. Same thing with Revolver Media. Revolver Media has the scoop on this case with January 6th, and they have, I guess, the discovery on all the case of all these. Nobody's been charged with insurrection on January 5th, but they have, I guess, the discovery, all the paperwork showing that there were codependent conspirators and that were working for the FBI. So Revolver News has this inside scoop, and same thing with CD Media has a scoop. And whenever any of these side alt-right media sources have the scoop, the same thing with the Hunter Biden laptop story coming out from who dropped that story? It wasn't True News. It was I can't believe. But it's all these fringe alt-right news companies that are always getting the scoop. I always think it's a little strange. So CD Media is one of them. We got breaking evidence presented at hearing yesterday shows Stacey Abrams ran the Fulton County elections. So Stacey Abrams, they're alleging the evidence presented at this morning's public meeting in the Fulton County Commission shows former Democrat candidate and state rep Stacey Abrams controlled and financed the main contractor used in Fulton County. That's Atlanta. That's Georgia. Secretary of State Rathesberger, the whole special session, certified the election, all that stuff. I guess Stacey Abrams controlled, according to these documents by CD Media, ran the election. So evidence showed direct financial underwriting of the staffing. Service Happy Faces, which is like a subsidiary of Abrams. So in other words, this highly partisan Democrat political operative controlled the elections in Fulton County, which also they're alleging involved Nigerian nationals. So I don't know why they're throwing in the Nigerian National Council in all this. I mean, so I guess it wasn't the Chi-Coms this whole time. Apparently, it was the Nigerians, and and a whole other breaking story by CD Media is this whole thing about this Nigerian council. Nigerian citizen was the Dominion County Technicians. So Dominion, I guess, contracted this Nigerian council, these Nigerian citizens for Fulton County in the 2020 elections. They were involved with Cambridge Analytica in election manipulation, CD Media is alleging. And it's been providing deposition transcripts of a Nigerian national who was selected by Dominion voting systems to be the Fulton County county technician during the 20, which really doesn't say anything at all. Okay, so they chose a guy to be a technician. They're trying to say Stacey Abrams did it and she hired this other guy. And we're thinking, if this really is an op, is this just specifically leaked documents that are supposed to rally up the right to get mad at the left? Whenever any of the political atmosphere seems to die down a little bit, they always have this breaking news from this fringe alt-right news outlet. It's like, who knows? I mean, it could be an op. It's definitely weird when all these things just kind of pop out from these like side news. I mean, there's all these, you have Project Veritas. They just did a story with Fox of Houston. A reporter just came out and was trying to say that I guess she's being silenced at Fox News. So it very well could be. I mean, Fox was the first one to call the election. So we know that on both sides of the paradigm we're all controlled. So who knows? Maybe the only people willing to cover the scoop are these fringe, alternative media sources. But it just seems a little bit strange because it all ends up happening at the same time. Like Revolver Media just came out with this story, and now we have CD Media coming out. And I tried to look at the lady that owns CD Media, and she doesn't look like she has any connections to anybody, but you never really know. There's all these parent companies and subsidiaries, and they have all these 501c donations and stuff like that from different people. So you never really know what people's ulterior motives are from CD Media or Revolver News. You never know. I'd like to think in journalistic integrity. I really would, and like to think that it's just about down to get down to the bottom of it, because hey, that's what we're still trying to do on the Minutemen Report. Shout out, join on YouTube, Bitchute, Trovo, Twitch. Give us a like, give us a follow, thumbs up. You can find me on Pokemon Go at StopTheOp. We're always on the go here, so give me a shout, give me a like. What else we got? We got this magnets sticking to meat thing that's been going viral. I mean, who knows? It's meat that's cold and slimy. I mean, it's probably sticking to. I don't know. What we really got to see is we got to put up one of these meters onto it and actually check, like the ohms reader or something like that, and try to check how the conductivity of check the magnetic reading of it. Really, what we need to do. There's only one way of figuring this out, and that's through science, not sticking. I didn't even think coins were magnetic anyway, so. It's kind of one of those things. People have been sticking coins to meat and saying, oh, this meat's magnetic and it's going to have adverse reactions with this. And I don't know. I'm not claiming that at all. But that's something going down. We're just reporting here. So on the National Review is reporting on the 10th that a male rat has gotten a uterus transplant from a female rat and has given birth. So we've officially pierced the veil, gone through the ovarian window. We have rats that were subjugated to an experiment in which a male was surgically attached to a female. So there was shared blood, and then a uterus was transplanted into the male. Okay, the IVF embryos were implanted in the transplanted uterus, and some of the pups were gestated to a successful cesarean birth from a rat model for male pregnancy. So they were able to attach these two, male rat and a female rat together, like the human centipede, and then attach a uterus into this male rat. And I guess these IVF embryos were implanted in the transplanted uterus. And some of the pups were gestated to a successful, so there were more than one birth, so they gave it a C-section. Very weird. Very weird about this whole thing. So we don't have Discord set up yet. I'm going to go ahead and get him live. Get my buddy Richard, Citizen Journal, live on here. We're going to try to bring in a guest anyway here on the Minutemen Report. Let's see how this works.
What's up, bro?
Yo, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, bro? No, I just wanted to see what you had going on.
Just got done eating some lunch. I got margaritas.
Very nice. Very nice. Margaritas. Yeah, man, that Bloody Mary I had this morning at the breakfast spot, that was definitely crucial this morning.
Did you get some rest or what?
I got a few hours, man. I'm doing my stream right now. Nobody's really tuning in. We got a couple people watching, but I just wanted to bring you on, see what the hell you had going on, man. It was pretty much a short news day, not really too much going on. I was just wanting to touch base with you, see what was going on. I haven't even started back on the Discord, dude. That was so deflating after I couldn't figure that out.
I mean, we'll get it figured out, you know? I mean, you're operating on no sleep, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I'm on.
How are you supposed to? Anyways.
Yeah.
We're getting all worked out. I mean, I'm pumped about the podcast. It's gonna be awesome. You know, I just got done. I don't know. I told you, but I launched this. I did tell you. I launched this T-shirt company. Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah. So I launched this T-shirt initiative a little while ago, and I was having some growing pains with I don't know. But anyway, today all the T-shirts get printed and shipped out. It's pretty dope. We sold I don't know how many, a good bit. So they're all getting out. One of them's a "Don't Shit on Me" T-shirt. Did I tell you about this?
Oh yeah, I thought you said you lost. Okay, you launched it. Yes, you did tell me about it, man. By the way, check out what is it? RCJ Shopify. Check that out. Go ahead and get a Richard Citizen Journal on shirt. We got you got some more. You have some more templates and stuff. You have some more what do they call them? Some more shirts coming out. Some more designs, don't you?
So we launched the anyways, all these things. Time. Anyway, doing the best I can. We've never done anything like this. So, but we have 2 T-shirts out now. One's RCJ, Richard Citizen Journal's T-shirt. It's pretty dope. It's got my brand on there, whatever. And we got another one that says "Don't Shit on Me." And we're gonna drop a whole bunch more products in the next week or so. But we had to get the production up and running, and that took a little while because I told this guy we're gonna have X amount of T-shirts, and people never know when they're entering into a new agreement. What the turnout's gonna be.
Inventory.
This guy expected it, so he had to order some stuff, these things. But yeah, man, we're excited about it. A lot of things happening. I mean, me and you, and some other, what would you say, characters or.
Yeah, man, that's how it is, man. A lot of times, whenever you're launching something, is you got to get the inventory down, you got to get the scheduling down. Trying to figure out all the logistics of everything. But yeah, man, big things. That's kind of what I was saying, man. We're gonna be having some giveaways going on soon. The callers calling in. You got your show up and running. I'm still trying to get all the bugs and the kinks worked out of the Minutemen Report. But yeah, man, big things coming soon. I'm excited too, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a year and a half here of how much can I learn and how fast can I learn it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all things. It's whether whichever angle you want to go, whether it has to do with ingredients in a vaccine, whether it has to do with what we know about politics or history, or it's how and as we try to get new things up and running, podcasts and websites and these things,
Yeah, there's literally not enough time in the day, and we're on a 24-hour news cycle. So to try to be able to keep up with everything in the political atmosphere right now is just like exhausting sometimes, man. Especially when it's like grassroots. Especially when it's like we're not trying to. Especially you, man. You like at the ground level, trying to. Not just reading articles, actually trying to figure it out. Especially when you're actually trying to get down to the bottom of it. Asking questions. It's exhausting.
It's not easy. I mean, I drive around the city that I was born and raised in, Washington D.C.
Yeah.
And I drive around there, and it's like a foreign land. I can make it from the White House if it wasn't for robotic lights that we just obey, right? I mean, oh, it turns red, you must stop. If you were to use human nature, like why would I stop? I would stop for a person or a car or a truck. If you delete out the lights right now in Washington D.C., you can drive from the White House to the Capitol in less than a minute, all 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And that's all the federal buildings. That's FBI, Department of Justice, Department of Labor, the National Archives, Smithsonian. All that stuff is along Pennsylvania Avenue, and you stop at the red lights because that's what we're programmed to do.
Yeah.
There's not the only thing.
Well, man, the very first speed limits law wasn't even around until like people had already been driving for like 60 years before the very first speed limit came out, and then that kind of pierced the veil, and then we ended up going into this seatbelt laws and all these other things that kind of can't. So it's a slippery slope, man. Once you end up down that route, but I know, I don't know. I know going down south, man, you end up getting stuck at the same light like 4 times. Just going at like 5 miles up the road, man, it'd take you an hour.
Yeah, I'm talking about a broader thing. We're talking about Washington, D.C., right? Capital of the world. We're talking about metro. We're talking about pedestrians. We're talking about subways and trains and airplanes and scooters and bicycles and cars and buses and vans and shuttle buses and all these things. And you drive down Washington, D.C. Monday through Friday right now, and there's no one there.
That's eerie.
No people. It looks like, and the people that are out walking their dog, or going for a jog, these people try to act like things are like, oh yeah, this is normal. It's not normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything's madness.
Yeah, it is crazy, and that realistically, man, the fact that that's the District of Columbia, that's technically a federal, is that technically a province? What is Washington D.C.?
As far as I know, at this point, it's a foreign land.
Yes,
man, it's foreign to me.
From sounds, yeah.
All the buildings are there, but everything else is gone.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is where everything kind of funnels down from, man. Is from there, everything else kind of trickles down to the rest of the country. So if we're starting the precedents there, and then everything else flows from that.
As we speak, Gary, they have a fence around the Capitol. The Capitol is every state and country are the people's house.
Yeah.
That's where the people are allowed to gather and tell the representatives,
Yeah, man.
We voted you in, this is what we want, and the representative is supposed to act on their behalf, but yet there's a 10-foot fence surrounding the Capitol. You can't even go in. It says protected by police, a police barricade, and that's been there since January. Why is it still there? There's no one in the city. What's the threat? Man, the
staple of America is it came from being able to. There's a law you don't like. There's a law that came down. Hey, whoa, what happened? You go up to your Capitol and you petition your leaders to be able to say we don't agree with this, and it's one of those things, man. All these moms that used to not want curse words and rap music, they used to rally together, and all these moms would go up to the Capitol and they'd say something about it.
And now those same moms are labeled domestic terrorists.
They're all racist. They're all white supremacists. All of them. That's where we're at right now.
And if you call the White House, if you call the Capitol, if you call the FBI, if you call all those buildings, they say they're permanently closed. If you go on Google Maps and search the White House or the Capitol, it's the IRS. It says permanently closed on Google Maps right now as I speak.
That's crazy. And they were open for business on January 6th. So yeah, you should definitely put this on your thing, man. We should definitely featured on Minutemen Report, man. We should definitely get some people in here for this conversation here, because this isn't something that we should just be having in a closed circuit at all.
Send me a link real quick and I'll drop it on my Telegram.
All right, hold on.
How many people are on the podcast right now?
I don't have a lot. I was supposed to start like over an hour ago. So everybody that came in for me to start, I ended up sleeping until like 1:45. So everybody pretty much, yeah.
You were up learning C++ last night, remember?
Yeah, I'm over here trying to like learn how to.
Gary's finish out a programmer, you know?
Yeah, bro. I'm like the what do you call it, dude? I'm like Eagle Eye now.
So will people able to click the link and get right in?
Yeah, should be able to just tap right in. Hold on, let's see here.
You got text it to me real quick?
Yeah. I'll just yeah, that's actually easier. I'm just gonna text it to you.
Hold on, I gotta get Google Map directions here where I'm going. Hold on one second. I'm tired myself, man. I woke up butt early this morning, got on my computer. I can't stand, man, looking at the screen so long, you know what I mean? Like, it just makes my eyes hurt. One thing I can't really focus on that well, you know?
Yeah, I don't know how these Zoomers do it, to be honest with you, man. It's nauseating. I don't know how people can just like work remotely 24 hours, like that's what they do. It's constantly remotely, just staring at a screen. I couldn't. There's no way, man. There's no way. I mean, I guess we all kind of do it, don't we? I mean, we all kind of, stare at a screen in one way or another.
Yeah. I mean, I'm tapped into a screen on my phone, but I mean, looking at laptops is a new thing to me, you know? It's like, it just hurts my eyes. So, I mean, around here, the backs, my ears start hurting, my throat starts hurting, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what's up with that, man? I heard that there's.
Let me put this link up. Let's get some people to join. I'll start talking about it.
All right.
All right, hold on a second here to find some directions. I got to tap into that address I sent you.
All right.
Is that it? All right, hold on.
Yeah, it should be.
What should I put on there for,
Just say tapping into the Minutemen Report. Live news at noon.
Should I not say your name?
Nah, probably wouldn't dox me, man. Just stay tapping into the Minutemen Report. I still got to figure out how that's gonna go.
Alright, I'm posting it now. Let's see what happens, okay?
Alright. Watch, my account's immediately gonna get shut down. They're gonna be like, I know, they're gonna be like, oh shit.
Right on there, I'm looking at it.
They're gonna like, we found Richard, shut it down.
Yeah, it might have some weird, software that can detect my voice. It's funny, people take my videos. I don't know if we talked about this, you and I, but people like, it's fine, like, I put my watermark on there, but they grab my video and put it on, TikTok or whatever. These people have, 500 to 1,000 views also. They post on my videos, they get, I don't know, some of my 85,000 views or something, and then the next day I check their account and they've been totally shadow banned.
Oh yeah, you end up tripping the algorithm. Next thing you know, you trip the algorithm, and that's what happens, man. That's what happens in the truth movement, man. You can't have too much truth out there, because next thing you know, you're tripping the algorithms. It's always how it works. Yep.
Yeah, let's give it a minute here and see if people jump on. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah, so we're tapped in here with Richard Citizen Journal here on the Minutemen Report. Get up, tap in on YouTube, Bitchute, Trovo, Twitch, Minutemen Report. So what were you talking about here, man? You said not feeling good being around these people. I mean, I did hear something about that, man. I heard this lady out of Ohio, this doctor out of Ohio, she was at the city council talking about something about shedding, kind of the same way whenever you have chicken pox, you end up shedding. I mean, that's a live virus, and we don't really know how this mRNA actually sheds, or if it sheds. And she was kind of bringing up a good point about that. I mean, do you think that's even a possibility of somebody getting something like this and next thing you know, shedding some of the virus and giving symptoms to other people? I mean, do you even think that's possible?
Well, here's what I'll tell you. Some things happened, and I had to travel a little bit, as you know, with a friend of ours, two friends of ours, actually, across country, this and that, and I went to a couple things with groups of people. And it was right around that time that I came out with my T-shirt that has a Ghostbuster symbol across the needle, and that says "Don't shit on me," because I started just feeling not good, man. And right now, in fact, as I sit here and talk to you, I just had some lunch, and I was at a place this morning. high-speed internet, because as me and you are working on things, obviously things to come, but some exciting news to announce here in the next week or so. Less than that, probably, right, Gary?
Yeah, it's probably going to be less than a week. We should be off the ground.
So anyway, what happens to me, so as I travel across country, I got strep throat twice, got on antibiotics both times, and then like this morning, I'm sitting at a cafe on high-speed internet, and I can feel my ears start ringing. And about when that happens, I typically pack up, and even this morning I was there, and this guy walks in, he's got a young child with him, and they're both masked up, and they're sitting right next to me. And I don't know, I didn't talk to them, but whether or not, I don't understand this whole masking of children. I think it's child abuse.
Yeah, it's awful.
They sit down, and he has his coffee, and the kid has a bagel or something, and then so I don't know if the dad is vaxxed, the child is not. I really don't know, but my ears start ringing, and then shortly after that, within 10 minutes or so, my throat starts hurting a bit. And I'm trying to take some of this pine needle tea and pump up my immune system with some zinc, magnesium. I made homemade hydroxychloroquine by boiling grapefruit and these things. But as you know, man, I'm out there every day, interacting with people, talking with people, and I'm telling you, there's something to this. I just it's not normal for me to get headaches and ringing of ears, and I'll tell you another thing that I experienced is exhaustion. When you and I first met a while back, I had energy for days, right? I mean, I needed 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep maximum, out and about always. And the vaccine came out, and now, man, I find myself becoming exhausted quick when I interact with other people. It almost feels like I'm like, oh man, my head's hurting, my ears are hurting, my throat is hurting, and I'm tired now, and I got to go back and chill for a bit, get some rest.
Yeah,
It's a totally new feeling for me.
I think, man, I really do think that there's a lot to be said for this, like viral shedding, especially when it's something that's, and that's the whole thing, because we don't know, right? So it's kind of like one of these things. I mean, you hear everything from metal sticking to people and people getting magnetized from it to viral shedding, and the thing is, we just don't know. So it's like, how do you have something that's not FDA approved, something that we don't know, and then force people to take something like that, and then have to speculate, why am I feeling? How am I feeling? Is it because, you know what I mean? Like, just not.
There's something to it. I mean, I haven't had time yet to get magnets and all these things, but you and I, we've all seen these videos. I have a highly trusted friend who sent me a video this morning. It's him, it's his voice. I know this person. He's got a steak out of his refrigerator. He throws a magnet, sticks to the steak. You know what I mean? There's nefarious things happening all around us. It's very evident, and you can take it from any angle.
There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to test that. Like, you know how you can have an ohm reader and kind of test the conductivity of like metal and stuff like that. And test the electrical current of stuff. There's got to be a way to test like magnetism. You know what I mean? We should be able to get. We got to get down to the bottom of it here, man. We're just asking questions. I mean.
Yeah, but I know. I mean, I've seen so much stuff, and I don't know what's real and what's not. And frankly speaking, I don't really hang out with people that have been vaccinated.
Yeah.
For the reason I'm telling you, because my ears ring and my throat hurts, and it's not allergies,
Yeah.
But I'm gonna grab a couple magnets myself here the next couple of days, and I'm gonna go see if I can do it myself. But a trusted friend sent me a video today, and he's got the steak, and he's got magnet. It just sticks right on there.
Yeah. It's
I agree with you. When you remember when the 5G first came out, and people had those radiation meters.
Yes, and that's what I was just about to say. I'm hoping that this isn't just another op to try to get people to say, look at these crazy lunatics sticking metal to stakes and sticking metal to their forehead. This can't be. It's kind of like making a mockery of the truth movement. I'm hoping that this isn't just like another one of those ops to just try to get people to try to believe into some nonsense, just to try to make us all look like fools,
Well, at the end of the day, as when we first met, you and I and a couple of friends of ours, one of the things I always say is seeing is believing, right? So, like, that's why, I post my videos and I say things like, what do you all think? You know what I mean? Like, here's what I'm seeing. What are you seeing? And so I'm gonna go get my own damn magnets.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the grocery stores. I'm gonna see if it sticks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a video of it because I've seen so many. But I'm telling you, and I kind of been paying attention. I mean, there's so much to pay attention to right now, right? I mean, it's like learning overload. Me and you, we're working. I mean, just in the last 24 hours, we've linked up with how many new things that you and I know nothing about, trying to figure these things out to get podcasts up and running and all these things.
Yeah.
And so we're learning. And then I see these videos here and there on TikTok or wherever, or even on my own channel on Telegram. I see people post these videos of keys sticking to people's chests and magnets to arms and all this. And I see, well, maybe the arm is sweaty or this or that. So I don't know, but I'm gonna get my own magnets and I'm gonna go try it for myself. I'm gonna take a video of it. I'm gonna post it probably the next couple of days here to see. But seeing is believing to me. And one thing I think that people know about me when it comes to, you know,
we gotta find out. We gotta find out, because I know it's one of those things, man. You end up dropping the first a lot of firsts, man. A lot of big things, man. The first time everybody seen all the empty hospitals, that was you. You know, I mean, it's one of those things, man. It's seeing is believing, and trying to get that visual out to people is really most important, man. Because a lot of people can hear a lot of different things. I don't think hearing is believing anymore. It used to be you'd have a lot of people regurgitating things that they heard, but now it's not so much. Everything's more scrutinized, and you got a lot more people that are really trying to get down to the bottom of it. We're really seeing is believing anymore. You know, it's
right. And I recommend that for people. I mean, people often say, like, I put a video up the other day. I don't know, the FBI building or something. I was on one side of it, and people are like, well, the other sides are open, or this or that. I'm like, what? Go see for yourself, okay? All the federal buildings in Washington, D.C. are empty. Yeah. You might have a car go here or there. You might have a security guard or parking. They're all empty, you know? And people are so quick to, like, scrutinize, and it's fine. I like, you know, truth can be scrutinized, right?
Yeah.
And that's all fair. But, like, go see for yourself, whatever it is. Go to your local place. Go to your local thing. See for yourself. I mean,
it's really almost as if the burden of proof has been shifted onto, because people try to get down to the bottom of things. People that ask questions, people that really want to know, they used to bring it up and say, hey, look, the burden of proof's on you. Prove all this. What's up with this? And now it's almost like the burden of proof has been shifted onto truthers, where it's like, no, you guys have to prove all this before we even consider this in the public hemisphere. You know what I mean? It's like it's a whole other paradigm anymore, where people aren't ready to question things before it's like people need to know the truth first before they can question things, rather than question things to get down to the bottom of it. You know what I mean?
And that's the truther movement, which, you know, and that's fine, you know.
Yeah.
But then, like, today, like, I met these people and they were doing these things, and we were talking a little bit, and they were like, are you anti-vaxxer? And I was like, well, I'm not really anti-vaxxer. I was like, but I have a little bit of an issue with, no liability and something that they just came up with in 9 months. Do I question it? Yes. And these people are just like, well, we can't talk to you then. You know, we can't. They're not. There's a whole another subset of the population who is just not even willing to look up and consider anything at all.
Yeah, nobody even wants to have the dialogue, man. And the whole thing is that there's so many unknowns about this whole thing. We know that with Reagan signing the whole limited liability protection because of big pharma, that nobody can get sued over any. Yeah, nobody can get sued over any of this malpractice or any of these medical reactions that end up happening. But what about the third parties? What about people like these hospitals that are mandating it? What about Walmart? What about Costco?
That just came out. I mean, weren't we talking about this came out in, was it Houston or something this week, where a judge ruled that it was okay for the hospital to mandate the vax to their employees? Wasn't it? Where was it?
That was in Houston. They said that it was okay, and that's the first time a federal judge has ruled on it. And it was like a little over 100 people that were trying to hold out on not getting it, and they put them on unpaid leave. And they got struck down, so they pretty much said, look, we're not going to coerce you. This is perfectly constitutional. We're not going to coerce you, but if you don't get it, you got to find work somewhere else. And they said that they're still going to go up to the Supreme Court, so it's still not like, it's basically, it's not a moot point.
The staggering thing about that is it's not like this is like a union, teachers union, or something like that. These are hospital workers that probably have more knowledge than me and you. I mean, they see patients every day. They see the side effects. They see, and they've probably seen it for years. I mean, God knows, man, the shingle vaccine brings about shingles, and HPV causes infertility, and all these things. HPV vaccine, that is. And there's all this information, and the doctors and nurses know it, and they're the ones standing up saying, you know what, we just want to wait. We're not saying we're anti-vaxxers, but we're not good with it right now. And then the system, the court system, comes out and says, no, you know what, guys, even though you're the medical professionals, we're okay with this big business hospital company mandating it. And so fired, get another job. I mean, it's crazy.
And it's really hard too, man, because you see a lot of this footage coming out of people that are having adverse reactions, and they're having seizures, and they're having all of these symptoms, and it's hard because of the HEPA laws. You're not even really technically supposed to be filming in any sort of medical, so that's not proof right there of something happening.
It's funny when I was I got so many trespass warnings, man, because I went to I think 500 plus hospitals, back in this time last year, March, April, May, June, July, August, when the fake news was saying oh, we got tractor trailers full of bodies, all this. And people will be like, it's against HIPAA laws. And I was like, well, you're wearing a mask and a face shield. I mean, no one can recognize you anyway. So it's not against HIPAA. You know what I mean? Like, you can't
Oh
even
my
be
god.
identified. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the whole thing is, man, is that it's like there's something to be said that if we can't trust the doctors speaking out against it, if we can't trust our own eyes because of the HEPA laws, like when are we supposed to have this conversation? You know, like after there are 10-year studies on our account, you know what I mean? Once we are done being the guinea pigs, then we can have this dialogue about it. You know what I mean? It's like normally you have the dialogue based on 10-year studies. Normally you have the dialogue based on, whatever trials, but we skipped all that. So now we're supposed to say we're going to get virtue signaled.
Trials, and all the rats died, and then I think all the rabbits died. They said, oh, we're just going to hang this up, and we're going to give it to people.
Yeah, that was over the last 10 years. I think it was like 10 years they've been trying to actually come up with there's multiple. This is just number 19. You know what I mean? There's multiple of these viruses. So we've been trying to do this forever, and literally we've killed every single animal. So it's kind of one of those things, man. In order to be shamed away from the scientific method, like we're being virtue signaled away from the scientific method, and it's really scary, man, because this is how we've gotten down to the bottom of it. Somebody has a hypothesis. We test the hypothesis and put it under scrutiny. We put truth under scrutiny. If it holds up, then hey, maybe this is good enough for the people. But we completely did it under the emergency Production Act, to where it's like that Emergency Authorization Act, to where it's kind of like that's the only reason why it's around. And now it's not going anywhere. It's kind of like masks. The only reason why masks were around is because of this emergency, hey, look, and now they're trying to have that permanently around. It's like the same exact thing. They're just trying to get everything brought in under the guise of temporary and say 15 days to slow the spread, guys. And then next thing you know, it's, wait, what do you mean, we never said that, It's like...
It's crazy. Not just that. I mean, I was reading something a while back about, there was like a rotavirus or something, and there was like, I think it was a I can't remember, it was a vaccine a while ago, years ago, and like it had something like, I don't know, 15 to 20 adverse reactions in children, and they pulled it off the market. And I'm watching videos, man. I mean, I'm at the point, I mean, look, man, we all, a couple years ago, for me it was a while ago, this whole children thing, and, if anyone's seen the Podesta video at Comet Pizza and all these things, it's hard stuff to watch. And I'm at the point now where I watch these kids on TikTok or different places, and they're going into seizures, shortly after getting the vaccine. And we pull the roto vaccine off after 15 of these things, and I've seen way more than that of people and children. It's crazy, Gary. It's crazy. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know what to make of it.
Man, it really is, because they're man, in so many areas, it just makes me so sad for the kids, man. Whether it's with this whole thing that we're talking about right now, or whether it's just like the virtue signaling on cartoons, or whether it's teaching these kids how to twerk. And I seen a video of Times Square. It's just like this little girl that's like probably like 4 years old, man, and she's just like trying to twerk, and everybody's like entertaining this whole thing, man. It's all the way around, full circle. I don't care about.
Is the trainees in the library doing their videos in front of children? Like, I remember when I was a kid, we had reading time as kids, and the librarian would read to us, and now you got these, I don't know what they are, these little leotards or little things, like doing these, pumping the floor in front of these children, and you got parents clapping along like it's cool.
Look, man, the same way that we bring kids to the fair and we bring them to the circus, and kids are innocent, man. They don't know what they're doing half the time. They know that, hey, look, this is clown world right now. This is fun, but these guys are using it as justification, as saying, look, they like it. And then let's keep endorsing it to them because they have a right to. You know what I'm saying? Let's go based on our feelings now. Let's not go by God's law at this point. We're just going to go based on how we feel. They like it. And kids, they don't know any. They're literally just, they know what's in front of them. If it's being normalized, they're going to say, okay, well, I guess this is normal. They don't know any better. And I'm not worried for me, man. I'm worried about these kids that grow up thinking this is normal. You know what I mean? Thinking that the way that we live, that you have to, there was no other way before this. That's what is really most scary to me, man.
Yeah, because as they're innocent, they know no different, right? So this is what they're being taught, and they know no different. So what are they supposed to think as innocent beings, innocent children? It makes me sick, man. It makes me sick.
Yeah, it's almost like, man, and then from there, there is no going. It's so much harder to go back. It's like you're slipping into a crab trap.
We're already seeing the results now. I mean, look, everyone gets a trophy. Look at the result of that. You know?
Man, when it comes down to it, man, whenever slavery, there was I think it was a quote from Lincoln or a story about Lincoln, and it was right when Lincoln and everything happened with the slaves, and Lincoln bought this slave girl and set her free, took off the chains and said, "You're free. You're no longer a possession, basically." And she had been a slave for so long that she didn't understand what it meant, what it even meant to be free.
Yeah, I get it. A good example is Shawshank Redemption, when they let the older guy, he was like, forget his character in the movie, but he finally got paroled or whatever, got out of jail, and he hung himself because he couldn't deal with society.
Couldn't even deal with it.
Right? And that's the reality of all these. I mean, I'm just telling you, I interact with these people, and I just ask them objectively to think, and it's almost like they've lost the ability to think. They just want to be told what to do and follow the rules.
And right there, man, I mean, that is just a metaphor for a psyop right there, man. You get people so attached to socialism, so attached to being spoon-fed from the state, and then take them away from that in a radical way. People won't even know how to deal. You know what I mean? That's exactly, they can't even survive, to the point where they want to be masochistic and hurt themselves at that point. You know what I mean? That's pretty scary, man.
And it's all real. I mean, these things we're talking about aren't science fiction. It's real.
And we see all the grooming process everywhere, like all this stuff with MK Ultra and Jim Jones and all these people that have all these cults that have all these grooming. We're seeing all of this propaganda around us that are all these same methods that were used in the MK Ultra experiments, trying to figure out mind control. They were using LSD to try to figure out how they can try to figure out how to. It's all about mind control, how to control people, And we're seeing all these same methods. You do it through fear, man. It's number one tactic 101 is fear.
Yeah, it's like I've been asking people, I go out and invite to eat or interact, and I say to people like, when you've been vaccinated? Yes. Why are you still wearing a mask? I don't know. Are you ever gonna take the mask off? I don't know. I haven't thought about it. It's like,
yeah.
Hey, haven't you thought about it?
Yeah, I mean, it says it right there on the box of the jab that it doesn't stop you from getting it. It just lessens the symptoms. So at this point, and I know other people that are close to me that are just now kind of realizing, and they got the jab, and they were still going along wearing the mask, and it took people close to them and close to me asking these same questions, because without lifting that veil off their eyes, a lot of people just are going based on emotions. They're not doing anything based on reason at that point. It's just self.
They lack reason, right? They don't question, and that's like. I mean, one of the things people.
Well, it's self-preservation, man. It's self-preservation. Everybody's looking out to make sure. I mean, obviously, if somebody tells you you're going to die all day and you're just obviously trying not to die, it doesn't make you dumb. It doesn't make you not. It just makes you a little, naive, maybe. Yes, but not dumb. I wouldn't say.
But I find most people that I talk with are willing to have a conversation. Some people just weren't even willing to have a conversation. But the people that do, they're up to speed. I mean, they know Fauci, this one mask and two, and the rules change. I mean, I get got to the point where, this time last year where I just stopped listening to anything because I couldn't keep up with the changes in the rules. I didn't know what to do depending on where I was,
That's what it is. And dude, and honestly, that's one of those tactics we were just talking about. You always keep people wondering what the truth is, and that's a part of being able to have people believe in nothing. It's what do they call it? I forget what the word is. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, man, and it's pretty scary. it's pretty scary to say the least. We see it every day. It's all around us, man. It's one of those things, and I don't want to say there's other people that take the side of, well, these people that can't see this by now, they're lost. There's nothing you can do for them, because I don't think so. I think that everybody, you don't take the red pill all at once. Sometimes you got to have a dose of it. It's like antibiotics. You don't just take one pill and you're better. You have to have this constant, steady stream of antibiotics before you get better. It's the same thing with the red pill. Sometimes just one pill isn't going to do it. Sometimes you got to get prescribed by these truthers in a little bit. We'll go smaller doses over a longer period of time instead of a big dose all at once. Because sometimes you tell people a little bit too much truth all at once, and you see how people react. It completely turns them off from everything altogether.
It's just shocking to see so many people in a place of fight or flight and fear all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's like, I don't know, 2 years ago, man, if you walked into a bank with a face mask on and a face shield, they call the cops. And now, that's been completely normalized in our society and the world. And it's just a very strange thing. And I don't know, man.
See, and they gave us an alternative, man. They gave us the drive up window. They gave us, okay, we don't have to pay in cash, we can pay in card, we can do everything online. We don't even have to go anywhere. They gave us these alternatives so people don't revolt. So people are like, well, whatever, it is easier and cheaper to do it this way, and I don't, you know what I mean? To where it's like they didn't rock the boat. Like if this same thing had happened before the debit card, people would be like, screw you, bro, I'm not gonna do any of this. You know what I mean?
They created a society that allows people to function without interacting with each other.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, like even in the body, fellowship is basically a commandment, like gather with other believers, these things. And I mean, look at the failed leaders in the religious system that all bent to this. You know what I mean? When one of the main things is, to be a pastor, shepherd of your flock, whatever it is, you have to gather with other believers. And that they just took down so simply that, as you say, with the evolution of Amazon and stuff dropped off your door, and people just took it, and they're still doing it. I mean, look, that's why. I mean, half the reason I drive around a lot. I mean, it's so easy to get around town now up north because everyone's in their houses. They're not even coming out.
Yeah, it really is crazy, man. And here in Florida, where I'm at, man, you have Governor DeSantis, which man, he's the man. I mean, sometimes I feel like he shills a little bit too hard. But other than that, he signed these orders coming down from the governor, which that's the guy that has the right to pardon people. He can overturn. That's the top guy anywhere. And you have his order coming down, and you have people essentially disobeying him, which isn't against the law to disobey his striking down of the mask mandate. But essentially, you have people that are going against it to where now all these local orders are able to essentially get passed. So you still have places in local areas in Florida where they still, and it's because of the will of the people. It's because there's still so many people wearing the mask, so there's not enough revolt to even turn over any of the local orders. So you have 70% of the people wearing masks, you have 30% of the people not wearing masks. Well, hey, guess what? Not enough people are rocking the boat. You're still going to have to wear it everywhere you go.
Look,
you still got to wear it.
A year ago, I'd walk in 7-Eleven to get newspapers or whatever I was doing, and I was attacked. Where's your mask? Where's your mask? Where's your mask? And I just turn around and walk out. But now it seems like the will of the people just completely broken. You go to Walmart, you go to the grocery store, everyone's still, at least here, all the employees are still wearing a mask, but no one even bothers saying, people have just given up.
Well, that's honestly the first step. You because that's how it was here when everybody else was masked up in Florida. People were not having it at all. You'd still have employees doing it, but now it's at the point where so many places around here you don't even have employees wearing them and shit. So let alone telling everybody. So it is a process. It's the same way like we had to all get over the atom bomb and actually learn to live with the fear of we could be bombed at any time. Oh my gosh, they were making kids go into their desks like once a week to practice the drills. We had to eventually stop doing all that and just learn to live with it. So it's going to be the exact same thing here. It's just going to take time. We just can't give up on our fellow people that aren't woken up yet. I think that's most important.
Yeah, I agree. But man, it's like it's taxing. I mean, I'm at the point now where I don't know, man. Someone's wearing a mask, I don't even want to interact with them. I'm just like, what? Like, and don't get me wrong, like I want all souls to be saved. I want everyone to have a chance. But man, I've been doing this for a year and a half now, whatever it's been, and I'm exhausted from it. I'm exhausted trying to tell people what's completely obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least completely obvious to me. But like if you're someone who's just tapped in, like I think I was telling you earlier, there's a local radio show up here in Washington. It's called Ellie in the Morning, and if anyone remembers listening to the Grease Band from years ago, and Opie and Anthony, and these great, these radio.
The legends, right there, man. The legends.
Well, they used to push the limits. They used to push the limits, which is good. Like if you think about Jurassic Park, and like I mean. I don't want to talk about dinosaurs right now, but like
they were pushing the limits. They were pushing the limits as far as everything goes, as far as political commentary, as far as racial commentary. But it was all in the sake of humor. It's because everybody had a sense of humor then. So it wasn't like anybody was saying anything to get anybody mad. It was really your aim was to make everybody laugh, and some people just so happen to get mad. And if they did, hey, look, it's all in fun.
I'm just saying, if you're a regular person right now, like just listening to mainstream media, and even like this guy on the radio, Elliot, like I listen to him, he's been on for a long time, probably 15 years, and he's always been a pretty funny guy in general. And him and his team with Diane and all these people, like they just completely bought in hook, line, and sinker. They're advertising today. They're like, hey, get your free tickets to the Foo Fighters concert at Madison Square Garden. It's a sold out show, blah blah blah. But one of the conditions to go is you have to be vaccinated. And people are calling in, they're so pumped and all these things, and And like with that, and that's like it's just nuts.
Man,
So
that's crazy.
even like local talk show people, and because they're all controlled by a handful of companies that own all the media, and so I have compassion to people that have had no other information than that, and like when they come across me, I'm like, have you heard about shedding? They're like, what's that? I'm like, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this vaccine and these things? Oh no, I haven't. It's like, man.
And dude, those guys that you were talking about that have been on the radio, been doing it for so long. If we're just exhausted after this long, of trying to wake people up, think of how exhausted they were probably, 9/11 asking questions, trying to, these were the same guys that have been in it. So it's like one of those things, man, all these legends and stuff that kind of sold out. It's like, what do? Do you die young or do you live long enough to sell out,
And you see it locally with our police and government employees just taking orders because at some point they just throw their hands up and say, you know what, I want my paycheck, I'm just going to do what I'm told. But that's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm controlled by, a few people with a lot of money that owns my radio station, that owns the police force, that owns this. I'm just going to take these orders and do it. It's a very, very fine line. And I think in a lot of ways we've crossed over without us even knowing, and now we're here.
Yeah, why do you, why do you think in any great genocide, in the history of genocides, man, who do you think did all the mass murdering? It was always fellow citizens that were all just like, half of them weren't ideologues, probably most of them weren't ideologues. It was probably just people going along with it because they wanted a paycheck, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander, you know what I mean? What's good for the gander is good for the goose, so that kind of go along to get along. So that's the scariest thing, man, is that they really do. And we think that, oh man, it's just like people would have never thought that they're going to stop smoking in public. Look at all these hippies saying everybody's got to stop smoking in public. Well, they got enough hippies together to get everybody to go along with it. And it's one of those things, man, like when it comes to public safety and it comes to someone's well-being, it's very easily to get people manipulated and get them to act a certain way based on fear, man. I mean, you have the self-preservation. I mean, it's one of those things. People are going to do what's ever in their best interest if they think that it's not. You know what I mean? So, and even if they don't know the facts, even if they're ill-informed, because think if secondhand smoking was just an op. Think if they just did that as an op. People would have never gone. There was probably people like us, like, look, there's no science behind secondhand smoking. Yada yada. I'm not saying that there isn't, but I'm saying people like us would have said that till they're blue in the face. It wouldn't matter because people are so like, doesn't matter. I heard it's bad. We're not with it. You know what I mean? So it's the same weird paradigm, man, of trying to get the facts out there before it's too late. Like if secondhand smoking was good for you, let's just say, and there was only a small handful of people not waking enough people up, it wouldn't matter if secondhand smoke's good for you because everybody thinks it's bad for you.
Well, it's anything, and that's just one example, right? I mean, yeah, I get it. It's just crazy. But even I've had a doctor since I was a child, same doctor, and and he, and I've always thought he was good, he's holistic, he's always kind of go home and rest, eat some chicken soup, blah, 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 and even him now, is pushing the vaccine, and, and like, I don't know, since when did we start, I don't know, man.
See, I'm okay, look, man, I'm completely, don't get me wrong, man, I'm gonna say this right now, I'm okay with people pushing the vaccine, as long as they're pushing choice more. You know what I'm saying? As long as they're pushing choice more, and they're not pushing choice more.
And they're not publishing the data. I mean, look, the Bears database just wiped 150,000 deaths in the last 24 to 40 hours.
Yeah, I did hear that allegedly happen, man. It's one of those things. An informed decision and your right to choose are two things that should be front and center before anything else is informed decision. I mean, knowing what you're getting yourself into, because a lot of these people that are being coerced, half of them don't even have to take it. They don't even realize that, hey, look, if it's against your religious belief or if you have strong indignations against it, you don't have to take it. They're going to tell you it's mandatory till it's blue in the face, but if that thing's not Star K certified, like if that thing's not kosher and it's against your religious, whatever, that all your supplements have to be you don't have to take it. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you prescribe to. But people, they're not making an informed decision. So it's one of those things. You have to tell people informed decision and give them the option to choose first. I mean,
yeah, but that's not the narrative.
It's not, man. It's not.
And I don't disagree. And I just have so many issues. I mean, it's like, I don't know, like the medical community in general. Like, since when was the last time we've heard of a cure for anything?
Yeah, and it's not. It's really not, man.
It's always just treat.
I mean,
and there's so many examples of from allergies to different illnesses where you can actually cure them, but that's not, that's not in the cards because it's not as profitable to cure things as it is to treat forever. I mean, and that's what's cool about, some of this whole, truth movement, if you will. I mean, if you're paying attention, people are releasing information right now of how to cure all sorts of ailments from cancer.
Yeah.
They're showing you how to do it because the knowledge is there, but it's been suppressed. And it just never should have been. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's weird, man, because alternative medicine, it's one of those things. You know who rules you. You know who rules over you when you can't talk about them. And who are the two things that we can't talk about, man? It's Big Pharma and it's Israel. Where there are laws against it. You will get canceled. You will get shunned. So there's a lot to be said with it. And it's the same thing where how everybody got pushed to wear masks in the very beginning. Okay, OSHA says very clearly that you can't have less than 17% or 19% oxygen levels in a working environment, yet masks create like that's what it is. You have to have 19% and masks create lower than 17%. But people went along with it so long, and there was so little pushback, they went and changed the OSHA rules. And now we're coming from a point where now in order to get that change back, they're coming from a point, well, it's constitutional to have this rule changed. Nobody said anything at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's a moot point at this point. Everybody went along with it so long. To where it's like literally a constant battle, whether are we going to take this or are we going to say something about it. And it's not whether you have to agree or disagree, but as long as the dialogue is open, nothing's set in stone. You have to keep talking about it. You got to keep trying to scrutinize the truth. Otherwise, it's going to be set in stone, and unrealities and bullshit becomes truth if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I know. It's crazy. We were talking about this earlier about what is truth, at the end of the day. And, it's really...
it's very relative, man. It's kind of a relative thing. The truth... What was that? Yeah, the truth for the caterpillar is not the truth for the sparrow or something like that. It's like these guys have two very different realities on what they think is right and wrong, and it's really based on, self-preservation. It's based on, your cultural beliefs, where you get your information. If the caterpillar's always getting his news from the caterpillar, he's never going to know how the sparrow thinks, Or why the sparrow is doing what he's doing. He's all, it's weird. It's the dialogue, man. And we're supposed to all have different opinions. We're all supposed to be culturally opposed. Nothing's supposed to all be the same. It's the whole point of it. We're supposed to take pride in who we are. Not be ashamed of who we are, not be ashamed where we come from. That's across the board. Everybody's made mistakes, man. For you to sit here and say that we got it right and this is right and this is wrong, I mean, just to say that we're better now as a civil, which we are, man. As humanity as a whole is better now than we've ever been. We abolished slavery. We've done all these things. We've advanced so far technologically and in the health movement. At the same time, we've moved back really far. But to say that our ancestors were wrong because they didn't know any better, it's like, no, these are where we came from. This is our past.
Right, that's how we got to here.
That's how we got to here. We have to at least appreciate it and look at the downfalls of where we came, not shun anyone else that came from those same people, because it's all of us. We all came from these same people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird, man. I think that we're so naive to think that we're still not where we could be. We think that we made it, we're here, and it's like we still got so far to go.
We're all learning now, right? I mean, we're advancing day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour, second by second, And but I mean, through all these things, there's a lot of stuff that happens that isn't great, unfortunately, and we're,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's an issue, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, we can go on for days about all these topics.
Literally can, man. That's why I wanted to bring you on, man. Big things coming in the future. Richard Citizen Journal, add him on Telegram. We got Trovo up and going, Richard Citizen Journal. We got Dlive, Richard Citizen Journal. Tell where else we can find you. Anywhere else?
Well, mainly on Telegram, but as behind the scenes, you, me, and some others are working on some other stuff. It's exciting. I don't know. I mean, when are we gonna introduce all that? Next week or so, I guess.
Yeah. Right now, it's still like in the hush stage. But yeah, I think it's right now we can at least introduce. Yeah, it's coming within the next week. We should be all live on there. We should have the show up and running. One thing that's important, you got to get your fans. What do they think the name of the show should be? The name of your podcast that you're creating. What do they think? Because that's one important thing that we got to get down. We have almost everything else down.
Yeah, I mean, we're thinking about it, right? I mean,
We're
we're
thinking
trying to
about it.
figure out right now. So, we have some people. We have, I think, 3 or 4 people right now. They're going to be on 3 or 4 times a week, I'd say.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. I mean, I'm trying to always have content, and that's the key on my end. I'm sure I can see that's the key on your end. You're always uploading, always having content. So I think as long as you just keep that same format, keep people on, keep streaming, keep the truth coming. I mean, that's all we kind of can do, right? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be one of those things. It's gonna be, hey, here's some current events, whatever, top 10 stories of the day that we come across in the morning or whatever, I mean, you were going over something with me the other day that were just, I mean, I hadn't heard of it, and I think it's just gonna be kind of our take and a little bit of our backgrounds, and we all come from very different places, and then we just want people to weigh in, right? And we're gonna take calls, and we're gonna get the audience involved. And I think it's just gonna be one of these things where it's like, hey, here's the information we're coming across, and here's a little about what we think about it. What do you think about it?
Yeah.
And hopefully, as a group and as an audience, we can reach some new truths, and we can reach some new perspectives, and hear what people are thinking about this or that, and hopefully, really make some progress. I mean, that's kind of been it for me. I mean, look, I was #1 salesperson for 20 years everywhere I worked. I mean, the University of Maryland, when I was in school, threatened to throw me in a psych ward for weeks because I said kerosene can't melt steel. What about building number 7? So that's where it began for me. Then I went to the private sector and worked in the private, and then my governor took my travel. You can't do face-to-face sales anymore. It's against the law. And that's when, around the hospitals, trying to discover what was really going on. And I discovered that the things I see on TV, the things I hear on the radio, aren't actually the truth. The truth is, seeing is believing. So I take my phone and my camera and I go try to pursue it and let everyone else kind of come to their own conclusions. I'm hoping through the podcast and there's some really cool guests. And we're hooked up. I mean, I'm in touch with someone that everyone saw in the last few days that lost their job on a news channel. I'm in touch with
over there in Houston. Am I right?
I don't want to say too much.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And then we're in touch with some of these big-time lawyers that everyone's heard of, right? And then we're in touch with frontline doctors. I was invited to travel with them on their. They started out, I think, in Phoenix or Texas or something, and I'm in touch with them. And so we're gonna have some really cool guests that come on. And then I'm actually, as you know, I'm traveling again soon to some very important events, and we'll be, podcasting and live streaming. We're still working on coming up with an exact schedule and.
Yeah, we got to get the schedule down, and I think really most important thing is just scrutinizing truth, right? Just playing devil's advocate on everything, so we can open up the dialogue. We don't really. I mean, at least I don't want to wait. I want to do more listening and asking more questions. I think and letting people ask their questions. I mean.
And I want to hear it from everybody. I want to hear it from the people that are still masking their kids. I mean, tell me your perspective and why. Tell me your perspective and.
Yeah, change my mind. I mean, I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's hear it. I mean. Who knows?
I think that's one of the things right now with most people. I mean, as I said before, I did this FBI video, and then there's some other people that are saying, well, this is true, this isn't true. And at the end of the day, it's for us to decide what we think, and maybe I could have done a little more driven around that building or whatever, but whatever the case, I think we are all open to listening now more than ever before and coming to our own conclusions. And that's really what it's all about, right? I mean, we have to decide for ourselves after the information we get. And I agree. It's going to be about listening. It's going to be about, hearing other as ours. And you and I and the people that are going to be on this show with us, we are very open here to everything, right? And there's plenty of stuff in the last 12 months where I thought one thing and now I've changed my mind, and I think that probably resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think, dude, honestly, I think that's why debates are becoming more prevalent now than ever, is because people want to hear both sides. People don't want to just get the truth from their side of the paradigm. They want to hear both sides, man, and that's they're keeping everybody in an echo chamber. You're only listening to CNN, you're only listening to Fox. You're staying inside your own echo chamber. Like that's what.
And that's one of the things too, as we get this up and running. I mean, we're very well aware of censorship. I mean, we even talked before this because where we're streaming this now, we even anticipated this already going down. Thankfully, it sounds like it hasn't. But
yeah,
we're up to speed, and we have backup channels, and we have different places that we're doing this from. So because that's all what we're learning about too. Because as we all know, big tech and all these things are trying to shut us up.
That's their weapon. That's their weapon to the truth movement. And in this information war that we're dealing with, it's their weapon is cancel culture. That's how they can That's how they can essentially. You're an exterminator spraying down the hive, and everybody scatters. All the bugs scatter. You know what I mean? And
so we're trying. So anyway, with all that said, I know exactly, and we all know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so we're I mean, a name. I don't know what we're gonna call it yet. I mean, I guess RCJ, Richard Citizen Journalist, and something else.
Yeah, it's your podcast, so I'm thinking something catchy, man. I think you've had some good ideas so far, man. I think maybe ask everybody what they think, and I really do think we're trying to just break out of the echo chamber here. Let's hear both sides of the story. Let's play devil's advocate. Let's scrutinize truth.
And we talked about, like, I even we're either gonna. I mean, we have some really cool programming stuff. We're gonna have some pretty strong guests. It sounds like probably right off the bat. We'll see. A lot of people are still hesitant. A lot of people aren't. So we'll see what happens. But I think that one of the big things we talk about is an open line. We're gonna have people call in, whoever, from any group, whether it be a Zoomer or a Boomer. We want to hear. We want to know.
I want to hear people on the left, and I don't want to just yell at each other, man. Like every single time we go to demonstrations, events, it always ends up in a screaming match. I don't want a screaming match. I want to get down on the same page. We're both human. We both have to go to the bathroom at the end of the day. We both have to breathe. Let's have a dialogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I really think it could be good, man. All right, well, I think we might end up wrapping up here, man. Richard, it's been awesome. Richard on Telegram. Let them know one more time where everybody can find you.
Yeah, so I'm Richard Citizen Journalist on Telegram, and as anything, I mean, there's to anyone listening, there's accounts out there that are fake. I'm Richard Citizen Journalist on Telegram. There's a picture of me in a cowboy hat. And I think there's like over 200,000 people following me on Telegram now, so that's the account that you want. There's some other accounts that are fake. Just use your discernment to know. But anyway, it's Richard Citizen Journalist on Telegram. That's the only place that I am. I do have other accounts other places, but we're not going to talk about it right now until we roll some new things out.
Yeah.
But so for right now, you can find me there. And I generally post from Washington, D.C. area of what I'm seeing and what's happening.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I'll talk to you soon, man. I'm going to give you a call once I get off the stream. We got to figure out Discord and some other things for the day. So, all right, man. Thanks for tapping in, man. I'll talk to you soon, Richard.
Okay, brother.
All right, man. Bye. All right, guys. That was Richard Citizen Journal. Find him out. Check him out. He's always the first one on the scene. Ground roots, floor, eye in the sky, and everything that's going on. We're going to wrap up here. You can find this restream back on YouTube, back on Bitchute at the Minutemen Report. Probably going to end up taking it down by the end of the day. I always end up taking down my live streams, not to trip the algorithms. You can find me on Twitch, find me on Trovo, the Minutemen Report. Big things coming soon. We got the Discord, like I was telling Richard, up and running soon. We're going to be able to take calls on his podcast. We'll be able to take calls on my podcast. So, big things coming soon. Giveaways, all that. So, check me out. See you guys soon.